Before the graduands are presented individually to the Chancellor, Ms. Jennifer Chou, a member of the, Zhou, a member of the graduating class, will address convocation. Jennifer is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and a minor in Publishing. She is part of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences mentorship program and an advocate for student well-being. Jennifer worked to improve accessibility and mental health supports at SFU and had many opportunities to create memorable experiences for others. In the future, she hopes to inspire others to create more supportive and inclusive communities. I am now pleased to call upon Jennifer Zhou for the graduate address. Jennifer.
Thank you everyone for being here today. First, I'd like to acknowledge that we're located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations. We occupy this land because the settler colony of BC was created using forms of strategic violence and dispossession, resulting in lasting injustices that persist today. We should be aware that such forms of colonial violence continue to be established upon these territories, like lack of meaningful consultation with Indigenous nations on the TMX pipeline. I urge you to check native-land.ca to learn whose lands you're on. You can learn more about supporting Indigenous peoples from the First Nations Student Association at SFU, or take a free online course called Indigenous Canada at University of Alberta. And now I want to hear from you. Please raise your hand if you've ever joked about construction and waiting for the sub to open. Okay, now what about if you've ever waited in those huge lines for buses while it was snowing? Okay, that's a lot of you. Lastly, raise your hand if you've ever gotten lost in RCB. So I don't know everyone here, yet we're still connected through shared experiences unique to SFU. If you joked about construction and the sub delays, we learned how to be very, very patient. The construction kind of forced us to be patient, but this experience taught us more than we know. Seeing the sub, I feel like those years of waiting were worth it because future students will find a place to belong. Students from marginalized communities now have somewhere they can go to for support after a hard-fought campaign that resulted in spaces for groups like SFU, Students of Caribbean and African Ancestry, Simon Fraser Public Interest Research Group, SFU Disability and Neurodiversity Alliance, and more. We all helped make this possible for future students. For anyone that has waited to take a bus to or from Burnaby Mountain, especially when it was snowing, then you learn to be brave. I remember being shocked and frustrated at the long lines. Yet, especially on snowy days, it was the sense of camaraderie from waiting that I remember the most. I saw people taking pictures of the long lines, and I knew they'd end up on SFU Dank Memes Gang Facebook group. It's amazing how we can turn our code suffering into warm laughter and inside jokes, and these jokes made us feel more prepared to face the snow. Lastly, if you've ever gotten lost in RCB, you learn how to navigate and find support. I suck at reading maps, but I still looked for them so I could navigate RCB a little easier. I may have gotten lost every now and then, but I knew there would always be something or someone to help me find my way. To me, the metaphorical map that helped me navigate university life was the FASS mentorship program. I was so lost as a first year. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I still kind of don't. But luckily, mentors like Brian Fox helped me find confidence in myself and become the student leader that I am today. I hope you were also able to find maps that helped you navigate your undergraduate journey. Compared to RCB, navigating life after graduation should be way easier. And it doesn't matter how long it takes to get to your destination because life isn't a race. We made it here despite the pandemic, and I'm proud of all of us for being so resilient. We've learned so much more than just legal studies, criminology, and psychology. We learned some life lessons during our time at SFU without even realizing it. I'll miss studying with friends, grabbing free food on campus, and most of all, I'll miss my UPass. The one thing I won't miss is trying to hide how out of breath I was while climbing those Sable Hall stairs. So what about you? What will you miss? And what are you looking forward to? Anyway, congratulations to us, the grad class of 2021. Remember what we've learned here, and good luck on the next step of your journey. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for that great speech. I did put my hand up a few times as well, I have to admit.